What's up, everyone? I think we're live. Thanks for tuning in to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Network today. If you guys are watching, let us know that all of our streams are working by either tagging a friend who loves tattoos, or let us know where you're beaming in from and drop a little flag in the comments in the YouTube, Facebook, or any of our other chats that we may be streaming out. Thank you to everyone joining us on YouTube or Facebook, like I said, and a special thanks to those of you who are listening to our podcast. All of our network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, and panels can be enjoyed at community.reinventingthetattoo.com or in our YouTube channel, as well as reinventing247.com. Now, that's a pretty unique website there, as we are streaming 5 channels all the time. So if you're looking for something to watch or to put on in the front room of your studio, reinventing247.com is the place to be. While you're there, you can actually enter to win a goodie bag with samples from Shine Cartridges, Raw Pigments, and D-Lies Pro. Also, if you're watching today and you like the idea of a drawing group, we have several weekly shows in other drawing groups too. Every Sunday at 1, we've got Jason Lesser with his Reinventing Drawing Group, where artists are encouraged to beam in, talk about current events, maybe look around a convention like we did last weekend, all sorts of stuff. And guys, I have a show with Gabe Ripley and Jake Meeks every Sunday night at 9 p.m. It's called the Tattoo Weekly. Next week, we're going to be talking about sponsorship. So I encourage you guys to either join in, meet us in the chat, and let us know your thoughts about that. Also, every Monday at 9 p.m., we have our evening canon class with subscribers led by Guy Aitchison. So every month we focus on different topics, and this month is Fit and Flow. If you'd like to join these classes, subscribe to the Canon at courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also find Ricardo every Tuesday at 10 a.m. here. Wednesdays at noon is a Tattoo Now show, and Thursdays at 10 a.m. subscribers are encouraged to join Kier for a fundamental class. That's 10 a.m. and at noon, the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. So those shows are happening every week, and we also do lots of special events like the Paradise BYOB we broadcasted out last week, all sorts of stuff. If you're interested in more pro development courses and all sorts of stuff, courses.reinventingthetattoo.com is your go-to place for that. And that's where you can find all of the different events that happened at the BYOB last weekend, all the different panels and seminars like Jesse Smith or Jesse Levitt, Jake Meeks. We want to say thank you to all of our sponsors for providing this content to you guys for free today. We have World Tattoo Events. You can find them at worldtattooevents.com. They're the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events in the world. Also, thank you to Inkjet Stencils, printing stencils from your mobile or computer, and Raw Pigments. You can find them at rawpigments.co, and they're an ink company that's tapping into the source with acrylic-free pigments that have been impressing artists around the globe. Also, thank you to D-Lies Pro, known internationally as Dermalize Pro. Protect your art. If you're using Saran Wrap, watch videos of tattooers to see what it's all about. Also, thanks to Tattoo Now, providing technology for tattooers for more than 25 years. And of course, the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo, Guy Aitchison. You can find his Biomech Encyclopedia, DVDs, machines, paintings, and more at guyaitchison.com. Also, thanks to our affiliates, Fireside Tattoo Network, the Apprenticeship Diaries, and eco-friendly tattoo-supplies.com. All right, guys, we welcome positive reviews on our channels and love for you to follow us on YouTube or Facebook or any of the above. If you'd like to host a reinventing event like this or sponsor our community, just send us an email at management@reinventingthetattoo.com. Now, I'm going to be off in the background. I'll be reading off comments. I'll have my browser open. I'll be able to share inspirations or references. You guys just let me know. And I'm going to hand it over to Ricardo, who has a pretty fancy gourd we're going to gaze at. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. How you doing, Ricardo?
Hey, what's up, Lauren? I'm doing pretty good. Let's see if I can get this thing. Can you see me right now?
So we missed last week because, as a lot of us know, I've mentioned the Paradise BYOB event. And I know that there was so much going on last week that we didn't do our live drawing group, but I know you guys were busy making art, learning, sharing inspiration. So maybe we can open up with how that went for you and your experience.
Right? Yeah. I want to know about that.
Man, there's so much to say. I don't even know where to start. It was pretty radical. We had a really good time meeting everybody, especially people that we've... Let me see about this echo real quick. All right, can you guys hear me now?
Much, much better.
All right, so let's see here. Get me on this fancy camera here. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, we were talking about the Paradise event. It was pretty radical. It was awesome to meet everybody in person that we usually talk to here on the app, through the drawing groups and stuff like that, especially. It was, I think, it was really inspiring and stuff like that to be around all the different art, to see all the different ways of doing things, like to create their own images and everything like that. But I think, and then the seminars were pretty rocking too. Like, the whole point of the show was to like kind of educate and stuff like that and share and stuff like that and the knowledge. But the coolest part for me was talking to everybody, and in that process finding out that we all felt the same way about being so freaking nervous about being there and meeting each other in person. You know what I mean? Like, not only that, but also just what it felt like to kind of present, to be exposing ourselves to these environments and stuff like that too, around some of these people that we see as like these very talented artists, so for me, I think that was the coolest part of the whole experience. And then being able to talk to people and be like, hey man, just jump in, like, let's just talk about it. Like, if that's what you're feeling at the moment, say it, and it was really cool to do that with people. And then them to say, hey man, I'm freaking nervous right now, and myself included. But yeah, but I mean, the setting was killer. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Massachusetts. That was my first time. And dude, you would have loved it, Joe. You would have loved it. It was beautiful. I guess in the next couple of weeks, there's so much forest land out there on top of the mountains and everything like that. Yeah, and I guess in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be like just brilliantly like orange and red and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So because it had just started. So
Yeah.
but it made for some really fun painting time with Renee Little. We did a plein air kind of watercolor course or seminar, and that was pretty rocking. But we got rained on, so we ended up going inside. But either way, it was an experience and an adventure. You never been out there before, Joe?
No. I've been up to like Vermont and that kind of area, but I've never been to like Massachusetts area. So
Okay.
I'm sure I'm sure when we drove through it, I was there, but I wasn't like there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It looks like, yeah, dude, that was my first time, so I couldn't be more ecstatic about it, man. Let me see about getting. I think the only thing that's showing up right now is Lauren's screen.
No, right now it's your two.
It's my two cameras. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, sweet. I wasn't sure what was going on.
At least from what I can see on the feed.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Because I'm not going to pay attention to my laptop anymore. It's just going to be an extra camera. And I might end up turning it off here in a little bit because this will be the only one that I'm really going to be talking through anyway.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, she mentioned this gourd. Let me show you guys this gourd real quick. I don't know if you can see that very well. Yeah, there you go. A couple years back, my kids and I went to Hobby Lobby. Every Christmas, we like to go, to different stores and find like a new ornament for the year. Right. And this one year in particular, I was like, hey, let's go buy some stuff for Halloween so that way we can just like keep it. Like, you know what I mean? Because carving pumpkins is fun, dude. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. And I've seen some really cool ways that you can like not necessarily carve into it, but just kind of sculpt it, like take away the skin. You ever done that before?
Yeah, where you can like do a 3D like relief sculpture on the pumpkin or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And that's fun, and the idea that it doesn't last as long is pretty cool. But I like the fact that we could like paint these and then clear coat them and then just like keep them for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I did this fun little.
I never thought about doing that. I'm gonna have to do that this year.
Yeah, good. Well, there you go, man. That's a good idea. And then my daughter painted this one a few years back. We do all like skulls around here, so I'll show you this one too. Yeah.
That's a staple for our household too, so I don't feel bad.
Yeah. Okay, good. But I thought it was pretty cool the way she incorporated like the hair with the the little leaf and stuff like that. It was like a beret. It's like a raspberry beret. But yeah, man. No, Joe, you would have loved it. It was pretty cool out there. Like I said, meeting everybody for the first time and putting the handshake to the tiny little screen and stuff like that was pretty cool too.
Right.
So
It's gonna happen soon, dude. Very, very
Yeah.
soon.
yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you, hell or high water, it's gonna
Good.
happen.
Good. That's what we like to hear. So let's see here. I have some notes that like I said, I always write down notes and stuff like that. For things that I think about whenever it comes to art. And like, I think the couple weeks ago that we first started talking was about like, I don't know, finding inspiration, I think is what it was. And like how methods that we can use to kind of like help that along. But today I'm going to start with like this 4 kind of points that I've thought were the most important, but we're going to cover 2 of them today. And the first one is going to be pretty much that inspiration isn't the only thing you need to be able to become a better artist. And actually, inspiration is one of the last things that you have to really worry about, which is ironic, but I feel like it's true. And the reason I say that is because I think that what really gets lost when you're searching for inspiration on what to create, you think that you have to create this entire image right away and it has to be perfect. That's the inner voice talking to us sometimes. And I think what I think was more important than inspiration, really, if you're thinking about how to become a better artist, is going to be drive and ambition. That's probably like the most important thing to me is like, for me, skulls. If I don't know what to draw, I'm going to draw a skull. I'm going to draw it from different angles. I'm going to draw it from real life. I'm going to draw it from my imagination. I'm going to use other things that inspire it, like a tree. If I can find the image of a skull inside of a tree, then I'll do that. Bones are another thing for me too, and it doesn't matter what kind of skull either. It's like it can be an animal skull, whatever. And I think what happens in that process is that no matter what, you're still practicing. No matter what, you're still teaching the muscle memory of your hand-eye coordination. You're teaching yourself how to look at the paper and how to not be anxious about just staring at a blank sheet of paper staring right back at you. You know what I mean? So you can always count. You won't always be inspired is basically the case. So when you're not inspired, don't just sit there and not do shit, because you have to do something. Some of the things that keep us from being inspired, though, are like being around art every day. Seeing other people's art and thinking that they're so much better than you. And a lot of times they're in the same exact boat as you are. You might look at their picture and go, how did they come up with this idea? Well, I don't know about you guys, man, but sometimes I'll just sit down and start scribbling, you know what I mean? Or just putting down blots of shapes and stuff like that and seeing what comes to our attention, and I think that that's really important to kind of keep in mind whenever you're struggling with the idea that you have to create this perfect image. Time, consistency, dedication, no inspiration, just draw what you see, like I said. Some of the best drawings and paintings, tattoos, etc. Start with just sketching, like literally. Start with just sketching until you start to see images form through the process. I don't know if there's really too much else to say about that. You just got to sit down and do it. You just have to sit down and do it. And if you're not having fun with it, then don't fucking do it. Go outside and go for a walk, or go, listen to some music, or pick up a guitar if you're trying to learn to play a guitar, or play some video games even. Just don't let it control your whole day, the video games, because I know I can get lost in that and I'm like, oh my God, 3 hours have gone by. But I haven't played, dude, honestly, Joe, like I've played video games probably at the beginning of this year for like pretty often, quite consistently too. And once I got on this app, man, it was like, whoop, what are video games? Like I've been.
I wouldn't say I'd be like that, but I have definitely cut down on the playing, because it's just been, I've been working with everything else and trying to fully engulf myself into everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do know what you mean. Let's see this thing here. So let me turn off this little computer for fast. So we're going to say bye-bye to the computer. Bye-bye, computer.
Bye-bye, computer.
There we go. All right, so you guys can see me still? You can see
Yes,
me still?
yes.
Okay,
Look at
perfect.
that totem.
Yeah, what do you know, man? What do you know? So, yeah, so I guess, yeah, man, let's see, where do we go next? Let's talk about one of the other things that I think is really important. And, you know, man, I go over this a lot and I talk about this a lot on this page and in my classes and stuff like that. But the emotional state of ourselves can be a big determining factor in our art. And I feel that it's really necessary to kind of cover some of these things because, in my opinion, anyways, our thoughts are actually what dictates our perception of reality. The way that we feel about ourselves, our inner monologue, our inner voice that keeps us from creating things because we think we're not good enough that day. And as artists, I think we all go through that. As people, I think we all go through that. But we have this strong emotional connection with our artwork. Like it is who we are, you know, this is what I am, you know, and to a point it's true. To a point it's true, but I think that there's a healthy balance between learning that you create your art, you know, that we speak with this voice because that's what we want to translate what it is that we realize and perceive as what we're feeling, not the fact that it's us entirely. And I know that sounds kind of vague and I know it sounds kind of oxymoronic and stuff like that, which it is, but that's the funny part about life, even, is that it is oxymoronic. Like, if you don't experience any loss or any defeat or any like failure, quote unquote failure, you don't realize how good things are sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's this yin and yang, you know, and it's this balance, dude, and it's really treacherous and it's really finicky. It can be fickle, you know. But one of the things I talk about a lot with my friends and people that I know, so I'll go and express it here too, is the ego. Our ego is like our worst enemy, and that goes with our art. It goes with being able to be spoken to about our artwork, taking criticism, whether or not it's constructive or not. One way or another, whether a person is tearing you down completely out of malice or being very gentle about it, you know what I mean, or very constructive about it, it doesn't matter. It's all constructive criticism one way or another because of the way that we want to perceive it. Just because a person is yelling at you or yelling in your direction, that doesn't mean that you've done something to create them to feel like that. They're actually the ones that feel that way about themselves, so they're expressing it in that way. And it's up to you to decide whether or not you translate it in the manner that they're trying to come across as. And a lot of times this anger and stuff like that, or this belittling, it's only our perception of what we think is real, which goes back to the ego. Alan Watts, I think he is the one that compared our ego to like this sonar system, right? Like this radar system. And you gotta think about like a submarine when they're floating around in the water in those depths and everything like that. There's no portholes, there's no windows to see where they're going. They might have that periscope, like down periscope, you know. They have that periscope, but that's only when they surface up to a certain point, so they can see what they're around. That's very, very rare, I think, when that happens. But the sonar system actually helps guide them, and what it does is it helps them avoid any blockages, any roadblocks. And our ego, I think, is what he's saying. What Alan Watts is referring that to is like it does the same thing. It makes us avoid blocks. It makes us avoid conflict. And there's another one of those words where it has syllables, it has consonants, and it has a phonetic spelling. It has a definition to it. You know what I mean? But it's all on how you interpret it. Conflict can be that word is heard, and immediately you want to avoid it. You think fighting, you think yelling. It's unfortunate that that's the case because conflict is actually something that is in us all the time. And a lot of times our ego is the one that keeps us from resolving with it and learning to live with it, learning to balance with it. You know what I mean? And it keeps us from being able to take interpretation of our art as well. And it can really alienate us from a lot of good things that can happen in our life. I know that I've been guilty of it for sure. My younger years, man, was way different than I am now. And I think we can all attest to that. I think we can all feel the same way. And I think it's important for us to realize that the ego isn't really even real. Like the way that people speak to us, like the way that we interpret our thoughts and our feelings, it's only a perception. We don't have to allow that to govern our ultimate action, our ultimate understanding. And I think that's what it is that Alan Watts was like talking about, and a lot of other philosophers and a lot of other therapists will say the same thing. It's like, it's about our interpretation, and it's about what we perceive as our reality, and we can make it whatever we want to, just like our art. So I think that's important to kind of cover. The other part of it with the ego as well, like I said, it doesn't exist, but it creates this self-importance. It makes us feel like when we're complimented on our artwork that's it, I'm doing great, this is the path that I need to take. You know what I mean? Like you're so wrapped up in this acceptance of other people and this validity, this being valued or being validated. It takes precedent over the fact of what it is that you're trying to do, which is be in the moment so much that we are part of the process rather than the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is set, that's great, but the process is the most important part of it, because within that you're being able to be open to failure, which I don't think that word means what it means either. It's an education. If you fail, quote unquote, you learn to do it a little bit better. And I think that's another thing that we need to think of whenever we're approaching our tattoos, our artwork, and going from there. Compliments when drawing their art. Tattoos does not mean you're the best thing. Yeah, let go of the physical self as well, by allowing the process to be more important than the end goal. Like I said, stop paying attention. Man, this is an important one. It's such a double-edged sword. Social media is such a double-edged sword for me, man. It really is. A lot of us get caught up in hesitating to press that publish button or press that share button. You know what I mean? And we're so conscientious, right? We're so conscientious of like, oh, this isn't even good enough. What am I doing? I know I see all these faults or something like that. Or like, that's our inner monologue messing with us. You know what I mean? That's our inner monologue taking control of our actions. That's our emotions taking control of our actions. And I think that's one of the things that we need to do. Like this Paradise BYOB, surrounding ourselves with the right kind of influence also should be perceived as in the same way as what we're filling our heads with, our own head with. And if we're sitting there and we're telling ourselves, oh, it's not good enough, that's terrible, stop. You're the one doing it to yourself. That's it. Nobody else is doing it to you, just you. By pressing that share button, by pressing that allow button or share button or publish, or like joining these Zoom links, for example, you're opening up the door to the possibilities of you growing. And that's great. You know what I mean? I know this year in particular, I actually had somebody come up to me at the Paradise BYOB, and they were talking about their anxiety of this kind of scenario. And it was really awesome to be able to be involved with that conversation at the moment, because I said, me too. This year has been the year where I was just like, well, I'm just going to do whatever it is that scares me, and it's not that it hasn't been hard, because it's been difficult for me, I mean, like in all vulnerability here, man, it's been pretty hard. And I've had some moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Am I doing it okay? Am I doing all right? I have some friends in my corner that are really like, they help along. They're benefiting me in a way that I see growth in myself and them. So that's surrounding myself with the right element and putting those words into play with my own thoughts and my own actions and stuff like that. So that's another thing too. We're not going to cover too much more. We're going to get to do some drawing and hanging out and stuff like that. So, but I think we really need to stop paying attention to things like how many followers we have, how many likes we get, how many shares we have. You know what I mean? And one of the other things is as well is if you're struggling with your art, stop looking, especially with tattoos or something like that. Stop looking at so many tattoo artists. Start looking at different variations of art. Look at things that you never thought you'd be interested in, even origami. You know what I mean? Start looking at origami. Start looking at folk art. You know what I mean? Start looking at some of the impressionism things and stuff like that. Some of the 2D art. I know some of the 2D art out there is awesome, because the 2D art really breaks it down for you on as far as shapes and placement of shapes and stuff like that. And I talk about that quite a bit. So if you can watch like the movie The Incredibles, if you look at some of the art that was being used to make the still frames and stuff like that, they did it all in the 2D art, like that old 70s kind of style of art. And it's awesome because you can recognize it for what it is. You recognize that it's a person, you recognize that it's a face, and it's just a rectangle with a couple little triangles for the eyes and stuff like that. You know, it's pretty cool. So yeah, get away from being valued and allowing yourself to be valued by all these likes and all these shares and all these followers and stuff like that. Like, it's important for you to promote yourself, but don't get tied up in the value of that for sure. Next week we'll go over a couple other things that I think are pretty important, one of them being one of the most important. But that's it for today. I think we'll just Joe, if I don't want to put you on the spot or anything like that, man, but I don't know if you have anything to share or if anything you want to say about that.
I didn't have anything prepared. No, I apologize.
No, you're fine, dude. I just meant like, what do you I meant like more or less like, what do you think about that kind of an idea? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about what's being talked about? So,
Oh, I agree with what you're saying completely. And
yeah.
I really couldn't add much more to it because what you said just kind of hit it right on the head. You know what I mean? So
Perfect, man. Well, cool. Thank you. Akshay, how are you doing, buddy?
Hello, sir.
Long time no see,
Good,
man.
sir,
How have you
good.
been?
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good, sir. I was little bit busy with tattooing scene, sir. So that's why I couldn't join the previous sessions. But I'm so happy today I'm here.
Yeah,
So
likewise,
amazing
man.
to
It's
be
great to
here.
have you. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's awesome, dude. I love this. I love this opportunity for us, man. It's good to see you too. It's been a little while,
Yes,
like you
sir.
said, but I'm glad to hear that you're staying busy with work. That's good.
Yes, sir. I wanted to like join these sessions, but my tattoo sessions was on always like these in the evening times, so couldn't like leave those sessions and do that. But
Yeah, that's
yes, sir.
cool. No worries. Well, either way, man.
So, sir, what are you doing? What is happening with the classes, like these sessions? Are you teaching something with charcoals?
Yeah, today I'm just working on a picture that we started a couple weeks ago. And I wanted to get back into it, try to get a little bit closer to being finished and everything like that. You know, we went over the processes of how to create the image. We used some reference and then just kind of went with our imagination with the rest of it. So I just went ahead and drew like a little spider with it, you know, like a Skeltella from Zelda. I don't know if you've ever played that game, Akshay, but it's a pretty fun game. The Zelda Legend of Zelda game, I think is what it is. But yeah, no. So I'm just drawing, just doodling today, and wanting to hang out and talk, man. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about the BYOB thing, which was amazing, and just see how you guys are doing. What are you guys working on?
Sir, I'm just working on this rough sketch.
Sketch in
Nice,
a
Wanted to
hand.
do more about the
nice.
Inktober thing, but
Oh
I got
yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Like a
Nice.
like a fan, like a
Mm-hmm.
handheld fan, right? Is that
yes,
for
sir.
a tattoo?
Wanted to do this small flash. Yes, sir. Wanted to create some flash designs. But this is also Inktober thing. So I was thinking to like create a series of flashes of these Inktober designs. Uh, that's why doing in that way.
Okay, that's killer, man. That's killer. I met Amy Nichols in person for the second time at the BYOB, and she was working on some Inktober things too. She was talking about, but it ended up taking. We ended up like working on a bunch of projects there together, and we did like a couple collaborative drawings. Like the entire group worked on a big couple back pieces and stuff like that, which was fun as hell. But yeah, she was mentioning that the Inktober thing. I've seen that
So
before.
crazy.
What's that? I've seen the Inktober thing before, but I've always wanted to participate. But I feel like, man, you know what? There it is. You heard what I'm saying? Like I should just do it. I'm just gonna do it. It's not too late, right? It's not too late. So, what are the requirements for that? Do we
So
just
you haven't
use nothing
drawn
but ink?
anything in October?
No, I haven't yet. What are some of the requirements?
Sir, you just need to like yes, so you need to draw the topics they have on their page. Every day they give a new topic, and then you draw that element, and then you tag them like or post them in your profile, just to keep you busy. It's just a
Yeah.
routine to draw every day. It's like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yes, sir.
Actually, that actually fits right in with what we were talking about earlier, which is like, sometimes us as artists, we don't feel inspired and everything like that. And sometimes we won't even pick up our pencils or paints or anything like that just because of the fact that we feel like we have to be entirely inspired every time that we do sit down and create something. So that's awesome. That's a good way to do it. And so what is the website, Akshay?
Sir, it's on Instagram. It's Inktober 2021. Um,
October 2021.
I
Let me
can
write that.
share the page with you on Instagram.
Yeah, that'd be great. Please. Thank you. That's awesome, dude. Thank you.
Oh, I
Let's-
see. So they give like a list of.
That's great. Akshay, thank you. Yeah, man. It sounds interesting. I'm gonna have some catching up to do. It doesn't matter like the size
No
of them or
problem,
anything like
sir.
that, does it?
Yes,
Do
sir.
they have requirements on the size
No,
of
no, no,
of
sir.
the image?
It's your wish. You just have to draw.
Heck yeah. I think I'm there. I think I
No,
can do
sir.
it.
Draw in any size.
I'm trying to find it.
Draw in any size. I'm there, man. I'm gonna try to catch up. And then you just post it every day and then like hashtag them and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, killer. I think I can do that. And
You
I'm
just
gonna
have
use
to
it.
draw every day. Like these topics, these elements.
Perfect. I'm down. I am down. It's great too. I just picked up these like brush tip pens too that I'm really excited to try, or markers. So I think I'll use those.
Oh, crazy, sir,
Nice.
crazy.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun to use those. They're like, they're very pressure sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got ones like those too.
Do you like them?
I love them. I
Okay.
absolutely love them.
Nice, dude. What kind of things do you create with them? More graphic illustrations, or what do you like to do with them?
So actually, there's the elk one that I posted. I don't even know if it's an elk or if it's a reindeer or whatever it is, but the one I posted to the Reinventing one
Mm-hmm.
is what I use those markers with, and that's what normally I use them for, is stuff like that, like really dynamic black and gray kind of work.
Oh, okay.
Because
Nice.
I love how black and everything else those markers. I mean, it also depends on what kind of markers you get and everything else, but the ones that I have, I like, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
But I think you'll like them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I've seen some artists doing like like font with them, like lettering and stuff like that too. Because you can kind of
Mhm.
calligraphy. It seems like
Yeah.
you can calligraphy with do calligraphy with them and stuff, right?
Yeah, if you got the that technique down, I'm not quite that artistic. I can't make an A and go, wow, that's an A, because you look at my
I
A and you'll be
know.
like, is that an A?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, dude. I can't really tell you. It looks cool because I don't know what I'm looking at. That's the way some of my font is too, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like I feel the same way about like font. Like these font artists these days, oof, man, they're
Right.
killing it, dude. Just killing it. It's pretty
just
incredible.
it's just lettering, but yet you're sitting there going like, what? How?
Yeah, exactly, dude. I know the feeling, man. Believe me. And it's weird because like I see the artistic element that's involved with some of these styles, dude. And I think wrapping our head around the idea that it's not cursive. You know what I mean? It's not line work. Like it's so hard to conceive that. Like I talk about that a lot when I'm teaching tattoo artists sometimes, and the couple times that I have is like, we think of everything in the way that we write because we're trying to translate this idea and this message. You know what I mean? So we always go back to line work, and and sometimes it can be defined as shapes too. We can translate things with shapes, like I was talking about with that 2D art and the Incredibles artwork.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's kind of like that, where if you perceive it as not an actual letter that you're creating, you're just combining the shapes together to make it look like the letter, then I think that's when it starts to really kind of click.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with muscle memory too, because once you start practicing it, you know how an A is supposed to look, and then you can just add to it from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever letter it might be.
Man, that's the thing though, dude. Like I'm seeing some of these artists, and dude, they're doing just straight alphabet tattoos on people. Like just A, B, C, D, E, and it's like, what the? And it looks killer, dude. Like I would totally get an alphabet tattooed on me if it looked like that. You know what I mean?
I'm waiting for Sesame Street to be like, "This is the letter of the day."
Oh
Ripping
man,
off the shirt. F.
Yes, dude, that'd be awesome. Like a tattoo Sesame Street.
Right?
Yeah, that's killer, man.
We should push for that.
I think you're onto something here. You got some golden ideas today, man.
Oh, geez.
I like it. I love that Sesame Street stuff, dude. When I was a kid, I mean, I still watch them sometimes.
Oh, dude, I got a 2-year-old. That's like, I could probably do the Elmo voice really good.
Oh man,
I really tried.
That's fucking hilarious.
I will not embarrass myself right now and try it.
I was like, do I ask him to do it or no? No, let's not do it. We won't do it. Hold on one second. Yeah, man. No, we don't want to do that today. Oh yeah. So, but no, I do love me some Sesame Street, man. I do love me some Sesame Street. There's actually a client of mine sent me this skit on SNL. They kind of do, what's the guy's name that made himself real famous in Stranger Things, and did Hellboy recently. Oh man, I can't remember the actor's name, but just look up the Grouch SNL, and they kind of do a mockumentary of the Joker movie. It's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good.
That's
Looks
funny.
like we got some people popping in today.
Oh,
Ananda,
nice.
how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I've been creeping for a little while. Like I'm getting ready to go, but got a little time that I can doodle before I head out. So
That's killer, man. Thanks for joining us. Would you mind turning your camera to the side? There you go. That's a little bit better. There you go. Now we can see us straight up and down. It's like I was gonna have to crick my neck to see. You know what I mean?
Right?
No, sorry guys.
Everybody, this is Ananda.
Hello.
Hello, hey everyone.
Hello.
Trey and Joe are joining us today in the room. Ananda and I met at the BYOB in person last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was such a great experience.
It really was.
I'm so jelly. So jelly.
I can understand that. I would be too.
If I didn't have to work that whole, you know what I mean, it'd have been a little different. But I already had things planned and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the next one I plan on, because what is it? It's in Ohio, isn't it?
No, Massachusetts. Wait.
Yeah,
Massachusetts. BYOB?
Yeah, it's Massachusetts still, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wait, isn't there another art jam or something? Or something happened in Ohio?
Oh, is the O'Reilly house in Ohio?
No, that's in Massachusetts as well. I think it's actually closer. Go ahead.
Oh, because they were gonna do they were gonna do an event at the O'Reilly House, like an artist retreat.
Yeah, I heard something. I mean, I could be wrong. I am
We
human.
might have to check. Wait, you're a human? I am too. What's up, dude? How you doing?
I just needed to clarify that.
Right. Oh, that's great. I think we're all people in this place, so that's awesome.
Yay!
All right.
We
I
think.
love your skull pillow, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm working on this guy. Gotta make Zelda proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Really super freaked out.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, oh my god, there's another one. What have you been up to since the BYOB, Ananda? You want to share with us how your week's been?
Yeah, catching up with work. I was, gonna start that big piece, but they ended up having I guess I was kind of saved because I was like coming hot off the BYOB, like no sleep, just like totally exhausted. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start this, full back piece on this new client that I've never met before. But yeah, he ended up having to reschedule, sadly, because of a funeral, yeah, it was like real bummer, but at the same time I'm like, don't worry about it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So but yeah, aside from that, just like catching up on work. I got to finish a fun piece day before yesterday that I'd started a couple months ago. Just like Hades with Cerberus on a chain. It was all black work.
Oh,
that
nice.
Was really fun. Yeah. And aside from that, it's all just been black work tattoos. So it's kind of, I don't know, black work. I love doing color stuff, but black work is kind of my happy place because it's so like straightforward,
Yep. I've said the same thing to people so many times. They've always asked me like, what's your favorite to do? I'm like, well, yeah, they always ask me what my favorite style is. And I just go black and gray. Like I feel the same way. And they're like, I do a lot of color work and stuff like that too, but it just feels a little bit more natural, to be able to do black and gray work. Like it just falls into place a little bit easier, I think.
See, I am the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. Like I can color something way easier than trying to do it in black and gray. I don't know why it is, but it's just, that's how I perceive it.
I should clarify that because when I say black work, I mean pretty much like black line and dot, because black and gray is a whole nother animal to me.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It really is though. I mean, I had more of like traditional background with my apprenticeship at least. So like my shading is still pretty whipped, and like that really soft, buttery shading that black and gray artists get, it still evades me. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm still making mine way too light. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to find that nice dynamic contrast to it. That's my some of my issues that I'm trying to tackle.
Gotcha. So you'd say, what did you say, that it's like a fear or an anxiety of where to place the blacks and where to place like the dark tones and stuff like that?
Oh, most definitely. Because I know in the back of my head that if I go too dark, there's no going back to that. Like I can make it darker later. There's no coming back after
no coming back.
Right?
You've entered the danger zone.
It is done.
Yeah.
You have crossed the threshold, sir.
It's like, hey, look, client, I don't want to freak you out or anything like that, but if I mess this up, it's really, really messed up. You know what I mean?
It's permanent and stuff.
Yeah. Somebody said these things are permanent.
I've heard that.
Exactly, dude.
Every once in a while, I'll say that to a client. Like, go ahead and check it in the mirror. I hear this stuff is permanent. Good.
Nice.
Good to look.
Nice.
Oh,
dude.
I always go to wipe them off on final time, and I look at them real serious. And I'm like, oh, it wiped away.
Yeah. I always enjoy okay, so we're almost done, but now we got to go over the whole thing in permanent ink, okay? They kind of get that
Now it's-
hesitation for a second, like, are you fucking serious?
Now it's the real serious part.
Yeah, exactly. You know that whole like 5 hours we just spent on this tattoo, that was just the stencil part of it. Don't worry.
Right, that was just me doodling. Now we're
Yeah.
gonna get back to business.
Yep, exactly,
Now it's
man.
for real. Oh, yeah, check out my wrist.
Oh yeah, man. That's funny. Yeah, black and gray. I know exactly what you mean, Joe. Like I've always been kind of, perplexed sometimes about like how much black do I need and where does it really go? You know what I mean? It's one of the things that we've been covering in guys' classes on Monday nights, and it's been pretty helpful. Especially, guys saying something along the same lines sometimes, like how much do I put and where do I need to put it? You know what I mean? Well, to hear him say the same thing that we struggle with sometimes feels really like, I don't want to say like, I guess it's kind of comforting, like because
Oh
It's
yeah,
human.
definitely.
yes, exactly.
Is he?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I
He's
think
not
so.
just this like he's not just
Wanted to
this
make sure.
tattoo overlord, or
Yeah.
like the all father of tattooing,
The
like
All-Father.
Biomed.
Oh, geez.
Sometimes he must take the eternal sleep and like rest. Sometimes he
Dude.
needs to rest.
At the BYOB, he totally felt like the Odin Allfather though, because he's like beaming in like on the big screen above all of us, just kind of
Yeah.
watching what's going on.
Wasn't that radical?
That was awesome.
Yep. Hey guys, how's it going? What a great time, man.
All I'm picturing is the whole like Still Alive movie where it's like obey, consume on
Oh
the big
yeah, dude.
screen.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that's the image I pictured whenever she was like his face was on the big screen. I'm like, oh no.
Like, no, say it ain't so. You're like, well, man, I'm almost out of bubble gum. I'm here to do two things: kick some ass and chew some bubble gum. And I'm almost.
That's like the only line
Yeah.
anybody remembers.
Love that movie. That was Roddy Piper, wasn't it?
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all coming back now. They wore the sunglasses, and it's like you could see through the veil.
That's right.
Yeah. What a great movie. Man, there's some of those movies like that one and He-Man, the Masters of the Universe movie, with
Oh
Dolph
my
Lundgren.
God. I
Dude,
just
it's
watched
like
that not that long ago.
It's so good, but so bad. So bad.
It's cringeworthy. We'll go
It
that
really-
far. Like the
it
story and
really
everything
is.
else. And for the time that it was made, it was great.
Oh yeah.
Obviously not now.
No. There was a couple of things about that movie. I saw Sylvester Stallone talking to somebody in an interview. They're like, "Why did you give that guy lines? You know what I mean? And so many of them." And the other one was like, I guess somebody along the lines, one of the producers wanted it to be more like Star Wars, So, and when you hear that and you think about that movie again, it's like, oh yeah, I could see that for sure. They definitely had the whole Imperial March thing with Skeletor and stuff.
Oh yeah. See,
Yeah.
they're remaking all these movies. They need to remake something like that.
So they were going to make He-Man again, but I don't think they're doing it. I think it keeps starting to make, and then they send it to Netflix, and Netflix is like, yeah, no, we don't want it either, dude.
You know what they need to do? They need to make a Thundercats.
Oof.
Yeah.
That'd be
Like
great.
I would watch a Thundercats.
That would be pretty good. I think I'd buy that for $1. I know they remade RoboCop too, but that wasn't too bad. So yeah, man. Speaking of movies, The Matrix 4 is going to be coming out pretty soon.
I'm kind of
Wait,
excited for
what?
that one.
How did I miss that?
What?
What?
How
What?
did you miss that?
Okay, but my husband's over here like, how did you miss that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in my little rabbit hole. I do what I need to do and stuff. Okay, tell me.
Yeah.
What is
You're gonna have to pull as soon as you get off here. I know you're probably gonna be rushing to work and everything, but you need to call your clients and go, hey, you got to give me an extra 10 minutes because I'm about to watch this Matrix 4 trailer about 3 times before I come in.
Right? I cannot wait. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, my babe's got me. He's pulling it up on the computer.
Yep,
Nice.
yep.
Loves me.
There you
The
go.
love is real.
It's like we share so many things. He takes care. We share each other. We help each other out when we're busy. And he pulls up the Matrix 4 trailers for me. It's fantastic.
It works. It really
That's the way,
works.
that's
So
the
many
way it
levels.
should be.
Yes, exactly. Good job, bud. Yeah, it's a good one, man.
Know your place. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Snap Dizzle didn't.
I only say that because I married myself, so I know my place. That's all I'm saying.
That's funny, dude. Akshay, have you seen any of these movies that we're talking about?
No, sir.
Oh man. Oh, Akshay. I think I have some homework for you.
But I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, it's good. They're good.
Yes, I
Yes,
would
sir.
definitely suggest it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I love working on tone paper. I don't get a chance to do it very often. I don't make myself do it very often, but I really enjoy it.
Wait, don't you normally work in charcoal though?
Yeah, but I'll normally just work on a white piece of paper, or, you know, like
And make your own tone.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
Exactly.
I can understand that.
hmm I worked on the Hanya that we did at the BYOB, and I gotta get back. I gotta get back on that. When I left, there was the main hall was locked, and I didn't think I could get my stuff. So Jason Leeser was actually really nice and mailed it all back to me.
Oh
So
wow, cool.
yeah, I'm still waiting. Yeah, exactly. He was really radical that way. He's really radical in a lot of ways, really.
I can imagine.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing this. I'm gonna do this today. I don't think I have two. I have one tattoo coming in later today on a buddy of mine at 5. This week is gonna be pretty mellow for me. Pretty excited about it. Just taking my time with everything.
I got 3 going on today, so.
Oh man.
First one's like she wants both her hands done with like henna kind of work in a way.
Wait, are you gonna do both hands at the same time?
I don't know. She's just now coming in. I'm just now like I've read what she put down. I haven't had a chance to like talk to her yet.
Uh-huh.
So when she comes in, we'll make plans for that and go from there.
Well, because the one thing I'll say is I tattooed a buddy of mine's fingers. What was it? Like a couple weeks ago. And I told him, I was like, "Are you sure you want to do both sets of fingers at the same time?" And he's like,
Right.
and he goes, "Yes." And I was like, "All right, dude, we'll do both of them." And then when we were done, he goes, "I should have just done one at a time."
You know, and I'll probably have the same conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just make sure, like, what I wish I would have done more was, you know, he's a buddy of mine, so I didn't really go into too much detail, but I think with a lot of clientele, you got to kind of say, like, let them know the reason why, like swelling and, you know, not being able to
Healing
do too
time,
much stuff. Yeah,
everything
exactly.
else.
Yeah, reality, like life, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do this tattoo, and then you're going to walk out of the door and you have to go back to life again.
What it was, then I give you all the chances.
Right.
Yeah.
And life sucks.
It can sometimes if you let it, but it doesn't really suck that bad.
It was
Especially-
a joke. Sorry.
Okay. It's all good, man.
Just a joke.
I'm just letting all the viewers out there know that it doesn't, in fact, suck. So did you watch it, Nanda?
Dude, that was so good.
It's going to be radical.
That's gonna be amazing. I love that they
Yeah.
took it that direction. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like, yeah, Noah had told me about it like forever ago, and I'm like, all right. I don't know. Like the third movie was good. Like it tied up a lot. You got further background, but at the same time, I don't know. Like some spots, I don't know. I mean, I love the Matrix. I don't know if any of them could ever touch the first one.
No,
But-
definitely not.
No, No,
Yeah.
they never would.
Yeah, and it's like I think that maybe I was still looking for that for the others, but
Mhm.
no, I like that they took it in this direction of him like being back in the Matrix and kind of like, oh, am I crazy that I see this stuff? You know, like I
Yep.
don't. That was that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna tune in for that one.
Yep. And then we can't say too much because we don't want to spoil it for Akshay. But if you guys remember the last one, there's a big thing that's happening there with him actually being there and talking to people. You know.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to rewatch the last one because it's been like ages.
Yep. Yes.
Yes,
I like
babe,
that
we can
thinking.
watch them all. Yes.
I like that thinking. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're together for reasons.
There you go. That's definitely one of them.
And those reasons alone, nothing more.
Yeah.
God darn it.
I didn't say
tax
not
tax
say that.
breaks, you know, etc. Movies.
I did not say
Please, please take everything I say as a joke.
that. Okay. Thank you for the disclaimer. Now
Yeah,
I feel like I know you.
Yep.
This is gonna be fine.
It's just gonna work out great. Just great.
So I saw the Skulltula. What are you guys working on?
That's a good question.
I'm working on a zombie hand with a graveyard kind of inside of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun, dude. It'd be cool. Can we see it again one more time?
No, no.
Please. So you got the tree starting down there at the bottom of the forum, right?
Right, right.
Oh, okay, killer. It might be kind of fun to see some more of the branches kind of coming down from the top end of it and dipping down
thought
into that
too.
forum. Yeah.
That'd be neat.
That'd be cool to like carry like that through the whole like composition to have those still like going off to the side.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could almost turn into like veins, almost even.
Right.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. That would
Yeah.
be cool.
There you go. There you go.
Duly noted.
All right.
What is your name, Joe?
Joe, yes.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
I'm not your average Joe. I will say that.
I can tell.
I'm like one of the most hyper above average persons you will ever meet with the most average name.
I didn't think about it like that. That's hilarious, man. That's pretty good. How about you, Akshay? You want to show us a little bit more about on the progress of the fan? If that's what you're still working on.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, nice.
This is what I have done. But so the proportions of the flowers are not right. I wanted to work on more flowers. I don't know like how to practice flowers.
You can approach them in a few different ways. You know what I mean? It depends on what type of flower you're working on, really.
Mhm.
You always start with like a couple of like one circle in the middle and a couple like offset to itself, but larger than the center one. That can help with a lot of the shape of the petals sometimes too. But the one thing about drawing small like that is that a lot of times the proportions can get thrown off. You know what I mean? So like whenever
Yes,
you're
sir.
drawing small, you have to take into consideration the overall scale for everything. So everything has to be just like shrunk down a little bit more to kind of compensate for that size and scale that you're working with.
Time you gonna be back?
You know,
Too late for us to have it together.
Yes, sir.
I think so. Here, I'll show you real quick. Let me grab
Sir,
another piece of
also,
paper. What's up?
sir, I wanted to like ask you about one tattoo I am going to do,
Yeah.
and it's on the ribs.
Okay.
I have never tattooed anyone on ribs, and it's a big piece. So I want to show you the design.
Let's check it out.
Mm.
So can you see this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this is the design.
Okay. It's a great design. I like the way that you've balanced everything out with the triangle
But sir, I
behind it.
don't know, like for the ribs. Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. So you're asking
But
about
sir, I
like
don't
how?
know, like if this will go with the flow of that ribs area.
Yes,
Yes, I think it will.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's a good space to put something, you know, like that. I think when you put the stencil on, the one thing you want to be careful of is the letters on the back end and the front end. So the S and the T and the S and the
Yes,
A,
sir.
you want to be careful about that not warping, you know, because
Yes, sir. Okay.
when you wrap the symmetrical image like that around the ribs, a lot of times towards the front of the ribs and towards the back, it'll tend to kind of like bow down a little bit almost even. So just
Solid
keep an
piece of
eye.
advice that.
What's that, Ananda?
I said that's a solid piece of advice.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's so you want to be careful, especially with font. You want to make sure that those margin lines stay consistent throughout it. So
Okay, sir.
there
Okay.
might be a little bit of like wiping off or redrawing a little bit, or replacing the font a little bit, maybe. It just depends on the size that you end up going with. But if it starts to go towards the front and the back, it'll definitely start to do that a little bit. So keep an eye out for that.
Okay, sir.
And make sure to give it a really good stretch whenever you go to do that line work.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Hand above their head, like kind of fold their arm behind their head, and have them
Okay, sir.
lean more towards the opposite side, or lean more towards the side that they're laying on the bed.
Okay,
That'll
sir.
help you out a lot. Yeah, the ribs
Sir, I
are
was thinking,
a lot of work.
sir, I was thinking while placing the stencil, should I make his arm like above his head, or make him stand in a normal position to
Yeah,
place the stencil?
you want to have his arm not necessarily up above his head, because that's gonna like stretch the skin already. You want to kind of have it
Right.
you want to have it out to his side, like kind of like an L shape.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, like his
Yes,
arm
sir.
kind of
Yes, sir.
parallel to the ground, right? Yeah.
Just a
Right.
90-degree angle. Bam. Straight out.
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
90
sir.
degree angle, perfect. Yep. Yeah, man.
Is this your
Yeah,
first time doing ribs?
And sir,
Yes.
do you like the composition?
yeah, I like the composition a lot. I think it's very well balanced. I think it's pretty well balanced. Yeah.
I like how it's not like how not jumbled it is. Like you can
Right.
tell pretty much what everything is.
Yeah. I agree. It's very clear. I think the shape of it will fit nicely too.
Yes. Well done, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, good deal, man.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. If you don't mind getting off the share, then we can all kind of hang out again too, if you don't mind. Let's see here. Zoom. There we go. All right, killer. Cool, man. Yeah, dude, that's a good job, man. It'll be tricky, you know what I mean? But you want to make sure to stay consistent with your line work. Give it a really good stretch every time you go to put down another line.
Okay.
For myself, I don't know about you guys, Ananda and Joe, but I like to focus pretty primarily on the angle of my machine and the approach to the line work whenever I lay it down on that skin in that area.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always worry about the stretch with that, because that is some stretchy skin in the
Yeah.
ribs, like the ribs, the hips, the stomach, any of that kind of area. It's almost like you need a third arm sometimes just to stretch it right.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. I do. I tend to I'm not always directly vertical to the skin when I do line work, but when I'm on the ribs or a thinner area like that stretches a lot, yeah, I'm much more vertical now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just in general, the skin is so much thinner, but it's like a protected area. So it seems thinner, but at the same time, it's stretchy. So I think that, yeah, like getting that good stretch on it will get you closer to a quality line.
Right.
Yep, I agree.
So just keep that in mind. It's going to be some stretchy skin.
Mhm.
With all of the other things that you are considering.
Mhm.
Because there's not much to think about here.
Yeah, not at all.
Nothing, not at all.
No. Like trying to explain, I have an apprentice now, and trying to explain things to him, like there's only so much that I can tell you. You just got to get in there and do it, man. And just,
Right.
Well, the good thing is that, like, yeah, and then with the apprentice, you're taking in so many different bits of information, so much volume of information that there's a lot to take into consideration for sure.
Right.
But like, actually, you've been tattooing for a little while and you do pretty solid work, man. So like, it's the only thing I think you need to take into consideration is really just the application in that area, since it's your first time, and you already know how to apply tattoos on different parts of the body, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem for you to adapt to that tissue there, because that's the one thing I think we can all say for sure is that it's definitely stretchy. So it's kind of like for me, it's almost like a tattooing like an elbow or something like that, where you really have to pull that skin. Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So you'll do fine, man.
Don't overthink it. Just do the thing. If it needs a touch up, it needs a touch up.
Isn't that
Anytime
always
I feel like I've gone like on a tattoo, I'll be like, so I'm gonna need a second session just to like clean up these lines a little bit, or just to want to make sure everything heals properly. That's usually what I'll say. Just like, yeah, I just want to, give it an eyeball when it's healed. So let me see it when it's done. So I know it's the one thing no tattoo ever wants to talk about. The times when we like, meh. I'm not gonna say I fucked up, but I didn't do it as good as I wanted to.
But it happens. It does
But
happen.
it happens.
You moved.
It's actually something I have told my apprentice. It's like, you've got to come to terms with that. You've got to come to accept that it's gonna happen, but just take a deep breath, handle what you can handle, and
Move on from there.
Don't let it stop you, because if you freak out about it, it's just gonna get worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That just feeds the beast right there. That's all that does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys want to see what I'm doing here? I'm gonna have to head out here in a few minutes.
Yes.
And it's
Absolutely.
definitely okay. This is my little. I'm just deciding for Inktober. Today's Inktober is stuck. Where is it? Oh, there we go. So that's what I.
That's cool. I like that. Yes.
I like that a lot.
Easy.
She's so pissed. She's so
Yeah.
pissed.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great,
Oh,
man.
that's awesome.
I didn't leave enough like gap here for the transparency of the bottle, which I realized afterwards. But I've been challenging myself to do these Inktober things in almost all like pen, just to force myself to be looser with it.
Very good.
So
yeah.
I tend to I have a habit of overthinking things. It's like getting too precious with the details. So I try to force myself to like loosen up, because I have no choice. It's there. Deal with it.
Kind of like what you were saying about the tattoo thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like there's, so many. I do a lot of geometric stuff and a lot of sacred geometry, mandalas, and it started off just because the shop that I apprenticed in, they didn't want to do it. So they would just hit it back to me like, no, she's gonna do it. She specializes in it. I'm like, really? Okay, fine.
Yeah, you do.
But now I do. Because I just kept doing it. And I think that there's that threshold where once you do something so many times and you continue to practice, even if you feel like you suck at it, you're gonna get there.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
with tattooers and surgeons, no one really likes to accept that truth. Like, it's a practice.
Absolutely, man. You're no kidding. That's a good way to put it in the perspective. Like, yeah, people, it's like, I think we were talking about it a while back. I can't remember where we were talking to, but when you're teaching somebody how to tattoo, you say, okay, this is the method, this is the technique, this is the reason. But when you do it, you don't really want to do it exactly like that. Like, wait, what do you mean? You're confusing the shit out of me. It's like, well, it's like that, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to do this, but not quite like this.
You'll figure it out. Just walk
And
around.
then
It is.
And then once
it
you
is,
start applying the ink and once you start applying the needles and stuff like that to the skin, you're like, oh, okay, I
Right.
get it now. Yeah. Yeah.
it is such an individual thing too. Like, each person has, like, we can talk about the ribs are the same, but they're
Mhm.
not, like, each person, whether they're like a little bit heavier than others, or if there's scar tissue there, or,
Right.
there's so many different factors. Like, everybody's like, everyone's fat is distributed a little bit differently, and that, like, affects, like, how different areas are going to be, like, more indented than others. I mean, you kind of got to be able to adapt to it.
Mhm.
But I think that's how the super complicated act of tattooing becomes kind of simple, because it's like, I'm just going to do the thing.
Right.
And if I need to touch it up, I'm going to touch it up.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Well, since Nanda, you're gonna be jumping off, I think I'm gonna be heading to the shop pretty soon too. I think we'll kind of go around the room here a little bit and everybody let everybody know how to get in touch with you. Let us know what your Instagram or your Facebook or any emails or anything like that you want to let everybody know that's watching. Ananda, why don't we go ahead and start with you once you get a chance? That way we can go ahead and sign everybody off.
All right. I'm Ananda War. I'm on just look up Spiritual Tattooer in just about any platform: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. That's how you find me.
Killer. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm glad I could.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too, man. That's awesome.
Right. It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
That's okay.
You're fine.
Akshay, why don't you go and let us know how to get a hold of you?
My name is Akshay Kashyap, and I'm from India. And I mostly do black and gray work. I have been tattooing from last 2-3 years. And you can reach me out through my Instagram, which is akshay.tattoos. And it is so amazing to be with Ricardo, sir. Crazy, crazy, sir.
Awesome, man. Thank you,
Thank
dude.
you.
It's always a pleasure to have you too, man. Thank you for joining us from around
Yes,
the world,
sir.
dude. It's radical. Yeah. Joe, give us a holler, man.
For once, I'm not first. I was excited about that. I just wanted to say that.
You're welcome.
My name's Joseph McFarland. I work in a little shop at Mountain State Tattoos. You can find me at our website at mountainstatetattoos.com or on Facebook, Mountain State Tattoos. Imagine that. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And I like doing color work and saying silly stuff.
Yay.
What
That's
I do.
awesome, dude. We'll send them all to you, Joe.
Right. Yeah.
You want a color tattoo and some jokes? Joe's your man.
Yeah, I'm it.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Thank you guys for joining in today. I appreciate you guys taking the time and us all having a chance to chat and stuff like that. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Gabe Ripley. Thank you, Lauren, for all your help and all your behind the scenes work and all your effort. And of course, Guy Etchison, thank you for getting all this thing going for such a long time, man, and the spirit catching up.
Yes,
I couldn't describe it any more than thankful. Thank you very much. And
thanks.
my name is Ricardo Sturdivant. You can find me at Candor Tattoo on Instagram and Ricardo Sturdivant on the Reinventing the Tattoo app. Yeah, thank you guys again for joining. Everybody,